How to forgive yourself. Does thinking about mistakes you made in the past mean that you haven't forgiven yourself for them? What does it take to forgive yourself for actions you regret? These and other questions are important for peace of mind and well-being in general. Suggestions for self-forgiveness include acceptance of and releasing what happened. Moving on into the future can mean accepting the past as destiny, making a commitment to change for the sake of a better future, and moving forward. But none of these things can happen without perspective and self-reflection. Taking a look at your life and how it has progressed can be the first step. 1. Remind yourself that you're doing the best you can. Our actions always depend on the skills we have, the frame of mind we're in, and how we perceive a situation in the moment. Maybe when we made the mistake, we didn't have as much objectivity or we acted out of survival mode. Maybe we'd let stress build up, which put us at a higher risk of responding poorly. Whatever the factors, cut yourself a break. If you learned from it, it wasn't in vain. 2. Act out a ritual of self-forgiveness. Recall the hurt this situation has caused. Then actually give yourself the empathy you would give someone else, along with an altruistic gift of self-forgiveness. It may help to go through a ritual of forgiveness. Write yourself a letter, give yourself the length of a hike to process your feelings one final time, or create a tangible expression of the painful experience, such as a sculpture in the sand or a pile of rocks in your garden, to commit to that self-forgiveness. Put time into this act and decide that when you are done, you'll really let it go. 3. Don't get rid of guilt. Feeling bad when we do something wrong is natural, and maybe even useful. Without it, where would we find the motivation to do better next time? But not all bad feelings are equally beneficial. Shame, which involves negative feelings about the self as a whole, is associated with defensive strategies like denial, avoidance, and even physical violence. Feeling like you're just a bad person at your core can undermine efforts to change, as change may not even seem possible from this perspective. Guilt, by contrast, involves feeling bad about one's behavior and its consequences. Research suggests that criminal offenders who recognize that doing bad things does not make them bad people are less likely to continue engaging in criminal activity. And remorse, rather than self-condemnation, has been shown to encourage prosocial behavior. Healthy self-forgiveness therefore seems to involve releasing destructive feelings of shame and self-condemnation while still experiencing some degree of guilt and remorse. But guilt should only be maintained to the extent that it helps fuel positive change. When it's excessive or relentless, it can become harmful. 4. Recognize unrealistic expectations. Being able to stop creating unrealistic expectations or rules will help you to feel happier and find it easier to forgive yourself. If you have set an unrealistic set of rules for yourself, they will most likely get broken, which can then lead to failure. Failure can make you feel guilty yet again, and you will not be able to learn to forgive yourself. You have to accept that not everything can be done as you think it should be done, and that's okay. If you stop setting unrealistic rules, you will not feel guilty if things do not go the way you want to, and will find it easier to forgive yourself for the little things. 5. Hit the stop button. Replaying what you did over and over again in your head isn't going to help you or the person you hurt. It just makes you feel bad. So every time you catch yourself ruminating on your sins, stop, and refocus your attention on something more positive. 6. Everyone makes mistakes and has things for which they feel sorry or regretful. Falling into the trap of rumination, self-hatred, or even pity can be damaging and make it difficult to maintain your self-esteem and motivation. Forgiving yourself often requires finding a way to learn from the experience and grow as a person. To do this, you need to understand why you behaved the way you did and why you feel guilty. What steps can you take to prevent the same behaviors again in the future? Yes, you might have messed up, but it was a learning experience that can help you make better choices in the future. 7. Show kindness and compassion. If your first response to a negative situation is to criticize yourself, it's time to show yourself some kindness and compassion. The only way to begin the journey to forgiveness is to be kind and compassionate with yourself. This takes time, patience, and a reminder to yourself that you're worthy of forgiveness. 8. Move forward. When you're ready, it will be easy to turn the page and move forward with good habits, self-love and gratitude. The mistakes you forgive yourself for have actually done a great service, because they've taught you something and made you the person you are today. By thanking the universe for the opportunity to learn from mistakes, you transform your regrets into energy that can be used for the common good. You can become more effective at achieving positive goals for your own and others' lives when you take the time, using meditation, yoga, and other positive actions, to transform any accumulated negativity into acceptance, gratefulness, and wisdom. These rewards can be shared and radiated throughout your new days. Once you have taken these steps, the self-forgiveness in your life can be repeated many times, whenever you feel a twinge of regret about anything. You can revisit your ability to reflect and perceive yourself whenever you start to feel the drag of negativity rear its ugly head in your overthinking mind. By releasing such thoughts, meditating, and accepting yourself, you'll get over the habit of rumination and embrace the positive energy that you have every right to enjoy. 9. Receive forgiveness. From the universe, take a step back and look at the big picture, not just those guilt-inspiring moments of your life. Remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes, and that you, too, deserve to be forgiven. If you have a spiritual practice, revisiting your teachings and growing your connection with your beliefs can also help you let go. 10. Do not be afraid to start anew. You can sometimes get stuck in the past, even when you think that you have forgiven yourself. Try and learn from your past mistake if you can. Use the mistake as a stepping stone to start again. You can then try and become a better version of yourself, using your mistakes as a guide to creating your new start. Also, you can start from scratch and make better decisions than you did before. It's okay to start again after you have forgiven yourself. If you can use your mistakes as a step towards a better life, that is great, and knowing that you can do this will help you realize that you are allowed to forgive yourself.